my pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Christine Hinz. Christine joined Sysmex America as the IT product manager in March of 2015. Prior to that, Christine worked in the laboratory for 13 years at Allina Health, a large IHN in Minnesota, where she was the core lab supervisor and Sysmex WAM system administrator. Christine was the primary hematology expert assisting in a very successful launch of the Sysmex WAM program to standardize Allina's approach to patient care. While at Allina, she oversaw successful go-lives with Epic Beaker LIS at the central laboratory, as well as at the regional and clinic sites. Christine is active in the American Society of Clinical Laboratory Science and has earned her Master's of Health Science with specialization in Clinical Laboratory Science from Rutgers University. Christine's topic today is Sysmex WAM Actionable Management Reports. Please welcome Christine.
Thank you, Kim. So yes, I'm excited to talk about WAM today. It was such a great thing that we brought into our laboratory to not only standardize everything throughout our health system, but make sure that our patients were receiving the right care at the right time, no matter where they were in our system. We had over 70 sites, and no matter if you were in the clinic or in the core laboratory, using WAM helped us provide that patient care no matter where they were. After we implemented the WAM solution, I often heard the question from our administrators, now what can you tell me about the data that WAM collects? Well, WAM is all about process optimization, and we have a set of 4 standard reports that can tell us about the data within WAM. So it really allows us to be the driver's seat of our hematology laboratory. So WAM is a middleware product that sits between our Sysmex instruments and the LIS. It will help you manage your orders, the patient data, the reflex orders, the results, comments, and drive smear management. We can connect to a variety of platforms, a variety of LISs, and also cell image analysis such as the CellVision. One of the great things that I love about WAM is that everything is in one place. It's so easy to look at your results, your operator alerts, and your scattergrams all on one screen. On the left-hand side, you'll see the sample ID list, and it'll even sort by priority. So your criticals will fall to the top, your stats will fall to the next, followed by everything else, making sure that you prioritize the right results. With our new version 5, we have a number of different features that allow you to optimize your process. We have extended delta and previous checks, meaning we can look back on previous flags on a result, a coded comment, a particular operator alert, and we can look at by hour, by minutes, or over a day range. We've added rule checks. We've added a rule tester, a conflict checker, and you can even export your own rules. Which we never had before. We've also enhanced the audit trails. We allow you to look at the sample ID, what rules triggered, who did it. You can unlock your own records, and you can also see various what's happening per analyzer. We've also added a lot of process monitors, meaning on the right-hand side you can see the alert bar, and it'll tell you whether your interfaces are working throughout the system, and also what's happening at the local level. So let's talk about management reports now. This really gives you the statistics at your fingertips. It's real-time data. There's over 1,000 different combinations to help you mine that data out of our system. Our 4 standard reports are the turnaround time report. The next is the count statistics report, and that'll really show you what your auto validation rate is. The rules statistics report shows you how your rules are triggering over a certain date range or time. And we have a result statistics report where you can really just think of any question that you want to ask and go look for the data. So here are just a few of the combinations that you can look at in our management report module. You can look at rule by type, by ID, by site, by a particular location or workplace. You can look at your deltas, your criticals. You can look at various results. Let's say you want to see if all of your hemoglobins were called appropriately, if they were critical. You can use that, or you can do that by using the result statistics report. The turnaround time report is going to show you receipt into laboratory, as well as when it got onto the instrument, to the time the first result came out of our middleware, and into the LAS. One of the things I really like is the auto-validation rate. That was one of the things my managers always asked me was, how are we doing, Christine? Tell me how WAM is helping our laboratory. And this is one of the first reports I could pull to show we were at an 85% validation rate. They're easy to use, they're on demand. If you have access to the system, you can pull this with just a click of the button. You don't have to ask your LAS to pull a special report or wait days to get that data. You can print your report, you can export it to Excel so that you can manipulate the data, or it will graph it for you. So the management reports are really your onboard GPS. Is your lab on track? Are you taking the most efficient route? What is your auto-validation rate? So the turnaround statistics report, that'll help you determine your average turnaround time. You can look at those outliers by percent or by minute. You can export and graph your data, and it just really helps you measure your lab's productivity. What I also really like is that it will highlight your outliers, and then you can dive deeper and see which samples, why they were outliers, and it's just a click away. Here is what our turnaround statistic report looks like. So over here on the left-hand side, this is all the criteria you can specify. And you can really look at any type of profile. You can look at CBCs, you can look at CBC differentials, you can look just at hemoglobins. It's whatever you need for your laboratory. And then over on the far right-hand side is the total time for that particular sample ID. Down at the bottom, the T1, T2, T3, and T4, those are the 4 points that I mentioned. T1 is receipt into lab. T2 is receipt to first barcode read on the instrument. T3 is the time the result that was first into WAM. And then T4 is result to the LAS. And here's what one of our graphs look like. Again, it's just a click of a button at the top to export it and graph it. So all you have to do is think of what if scenarios. You can mine your data, you can observe trending, and then you can optimize your processes. Our rule statistics report really help you optimize your rules. It'll identify rule utilization and your auto verification. So for example, if you think you're looking at too many smears on the blast flag, you can actually pull the result or the rule statistics report and either prove it or disprove it. Then you can tweak that rule, go back to your count statistics report, and check your auto validation rate and see if it really made a difference. The rules are linked with sample IDs, so you can easily click and see those samples that triggered the rule. And it really helps you fine-tune your lab's best practices. And of course, We all want to reduce our review rates, reduce those smears so that techs can work more efficiently. Here's what our rule statistics report looks like. On the left-hand side, again, we have our criteria where you can sort by day or time, by site, by workplace. You can look just at your critical rules. You can look just at delta rules. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see the rule name, a little short description of the rule. And then over on the right-hand side, that's how many times it triggered. The unique orders is the column that is the most important because that's really how many times the rule triggered. And this is just diving down into the rules. This happens to be a blast flag. It triggered 133 times. Within, let's see, the time frame is a little over a week. Maybe that's too much. So then you can go back and tweak that rule and check your auto-validation rate. So the management reports really help you go beyond just having a middleware product. It helps you dig beyond the surface, helps you correlate and cross-verify your assumptions, all those things you think are happening in the lab. It's the data you need to prove it. Just helps you make sense of your environment and even find out what you don't know. Maybe you didn't know that things were triggering inappropriately, and then you can go in, quick pull it, and change your process. The results statistics report is really data mining on demand. You can combine multiple search criteria and correlate clinical data sets. So one of the things I think of is, let's say you want to correlate your hematology results to blood bank results. You can pull the heme results out here and be able to print a nice report and go over and check your blood bank to see if patients were getting transfused at the appropriate hemoglobin level. Here's our results statistics report. And you'll notice there are many boxes, but that's so that you can search for whatever you want. I observed another customer recently that used this to check the utilization of their cell-o-vision. And were their techs actually using the cell image analysis? They could go in, look for a specific code related to the cell image analysis, and see how they were utilizing it. So the key here is know your numbers, and you can control your future. What patient types from which locations have hemoglobins less than X? That was the blood bank example I was talking about. Some other examples you might think of is how many and what patients have an optical platelet. How many times were NRBCs greater than 0, but then they were identified on the manual differential? And are there too many delta failures from a certain location? Another thing you can check is your workload unit and count how many slides you're actually scanning on a particular day. So it helps you quickly mobilize, focus on what's important, substantiate your data, and adapt. The last report here is the count statistics report. Like I said, that's one of my favorite reports because it'll tell you your auto-validation rate. It also tells you your rerun rate, how many smears you're doing, how many were stat. Let's say you want to see if the ER is ordering too many stats, the count statistics report will show you. And yes, you can achieve auto-validation rates greater than 85%. I would say that most of our customers that are using our middleware solution are at 85%. Here is our count statistics report. And over on the right-hand side where it says auto, that's the auto validation rate. The manual column is the manual validation rate. And again, you can do it by any profile, any date range or time, and you can do it by day, by user, by site. There's many different criteria. There's that auto-validation rate. So again, just to recap, the count statistics report is used to measure your auto-validation rate and your manual review rates. That turnaround time report is going to identify your processing gaps and outliers by percent or minutes. The rule statistics report is going to determine how many times each rule triggered so that you can go in and optimize those rules. And then your results statistics report is going to be data mining to correlate clinical findings or anything else in your lab that you're looking for. So there's over 1,000 different report combinations, and there's really no special skills required. You don't need to ask your LIS, it's just a click away. And to conclude, we just launched our new website. It is the WAM Resource Center, where there's all things WAM on there. And we're constantly posting on this page things that are new. Of particular interest is under product information. We post technical tidbits that help you troubleshoot things within WAM. That's what I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Christine.